That's a story, but I don't remember exact details of the story. It's actually many stories. But it's in the grains, it's supposed to, like simple activities come to the grains in this day. So we don't take grains. And actually, we chant more. We chant more, we perform reading more. This is very auspicious on such a day. So, even Lord Chaitanya appeared on full moon. It was full moon, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it was eclipse in the same time. So everywhere, because eclipse is not auspicious, and it's really not auspicious. So in India, everybody were chanting Hare Krishna to make it and Lord Chaitanya appeared in this day because, so it's showing that this is his mission, to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So, and in this way it become more auspicious. So we always try to do it. It's also considered to be mother of devotion, and she comes from the Lord, to protect.
That's today.
That's today.
I fasted one day.
Huh?
Yeah, we fasted 1 day or exactly.
Why?
I fasted yesterday.
Why?
It's something I do every month.
I see. So every month I can send you, it's called Ekadashi. It's very auspicious to fast.
Today?
Yeah. Like today and 26 is also Ekadashi. It's 2 times a month. So it's very auspicious to fast. There is also rules of fasting, on these days and stuff like that. And that, 11. Okie dokie. And we can read about this Ekadashi. Its appearance there of Vrindavan Das Thakur, Ekadashi Vrat, We can read about Ekadashi. You want to read about Ekadashi today? You can read why this Ekadashi is auspicious. Or you want Bhagavad Gita? Whatever you want.
Whatever you guys want.
Maybe Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. Because there's quotes from Bhagavatam.
Is there a specific page we're reading?
What, in the Gita?
Yeah.
We had, I think, the chapter 2, verse 13.
Chapter 2, 13?
Yeah. And it's actually one of the important verses there. Just let me see. Yeah, the 12 it was before, so. Okay. So version. So many, how do I give you? Welcome to the app, information.
Yeah, that's a famous verse 13 to 13.
Yeah.
2:13.
What is this? Why? It's my app is going nuts. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Not be bewildered by such a change.
Yeah. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om. You repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this way we glorify the Lord, before we start reading anything or speaking on anything. This mantra actually was given to Himlachari? No. Anyway, is one devotee, one acharya, so his guru gave him a secret mantra by which he can deliver him from material world, By chanting this mantra, you can go to the spiritual world. And he said to him, don't give it to anybody, it's a secret. So the moment he heard this mantra, he went the tallest building, called everybody from the village, and he chanted like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right? So it's like his guru was, what is this? Like, why did you chant this mantra to everybody? I told you it's secret. This will deliver you from the material world, to go to Vaikuntha. And I said, it's very sinful to disobey the guru's order. So I said, well, just me, one, I will be delivered. Now everybody can be delivered, by chanting. And his guru was actually very pleased, Even if I go, well, everybody will be delivered, So this is mood of service, mood of compassion, it's very, very, very nice. And this guru was like, really understand the meaning of the mantra. So we chant. And so 2:13 Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, in its very famous verse is Dehinosmini atha dehe kamaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatha namuhyati. Now it's explained like as the child, as embodied soul continuously passes in his body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So again and again, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna actually, and Srila Prabhupada reminded us that not this body, they are spirit soul, and the body is an external covering, the embodied spirit soul. So we get this body and it's changing, but we are the same person inside the body. So just by observing it, we can understand that we are not the body is just covering because of this change. It's saying every 8 years, every cell in the body is different. Except I think also some brain cells, but it's not everybody using them. So, so we can say, everything's like we don't have these bodies anymore. So I'm 53, so how many years it was? How many times I changed the body?
7.5.
7.5 times. 7 times I changed the body fully, completely. Reincarnated in this lifetime. Seriously, it's like that. It's not a joke. Yeah, like this. But fortunately, last 35 years I tried to eat only 75 food prasad, so probably my body is made from prasad, because it's the only thing I eat, What is it, right? So it's kind of funny. Yeah. Now the thing which I have to purify is the mind and the intelligence, so there you go. Sincerely living entity.
Hello.
Sincerely living entity is individual soul. Each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a young, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. You see? This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death of theirs for Bhishma and for Drona, who is their superiors, for whom he was so much concerned. So as Arjuna was really worrying about his friends and relatives who were standing in front of him, in the battlefield, etc., right? Especially of Bhishma. Bhishma was always well-wisher of the Pandavas. And Drona was his teacher, so it was really you have to fight with Drona. He killed Drona in the end, almost in the end, yeah. Drona was killed. But Krishna said, come on, you know, like even they standing in front of you in the battlefield, you know, they will be dead, but they're pious people. This is a war, spiritual war, like dharma and everything, so you'll get another body. And you, and better body. You see, so don't worry about it. You know, the sober person, like Krishna, before he talked to Arjuna, he said, like, he's a fool. But he considers himself, like, he's speaking as a learned man, but it's like, you're not, you know, why are you lamenting? It's all changing, you know, like, it's not right. So the same thing is going on here. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies, you see, from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of the body account for the varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to get spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for the superior enjoyment of material existence. So in either case, there was no cause for lamentation. Yeah, so Bhishma, for example, Bhishma was a very spiritual personality from all his life. And he was the son of Ganga Devi. Yeah, somebody knows the story? So Ganga Devi. And before it was one of the Vasus. It was like 7 or 8 Vasus, right?
Yeah.
8 Vasus. So, yeah. And the story goes like this. It was like heavenly planets, you know, you have this assembly hall and everything. And Ganga came. So Ganga came, she dressed nicely, everybody like welcome Ganga, and it's like little breeze was going on. And her dress like little bit lifted up. And everybody goes like, you know, normally. But who was Bhishma, one of the Vasus, he didn't look away, you know. He kind of stopped, so he had to come down to the earth. So this is why he was there, you know, he stayed. So, like this. So when Ganga was giving birth to, who was her husband? I forgot.
Yeah, it was one of the kings.
Yeah, it was a king. My God.
Like Bharata or something. B starts with B.
Yeah, we can look it up, you know, we have here.
But it was a story when he...
The king of, which was the husband of Ganga Devi.
Who promised not to ask your...
Shantanu.
Shantanu, yes.
You see, we have here. Technology. You see. Our brain is not so developed, you know, like we're not. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam explained Kali Yuga, actually, the age where people are short-lived, unfortunate and always disturbed, you know. The bad memory, short-lived, unfortunate and always disturbed. So it is bad memories. Still, you know, we have devotees in our society whose memory is amazing. Yeah, this devotee, his name is Bhaktivedanta Swami. He's unbelievable. He's like, I remember being in Radhadesh, and he was giving a class on Bhagavad Gita, so the lights went off, you know, and he was just chanting the verse. So he continued, he was chanting the word for word translation. So he continued to chant, you know, there was no light. Then he chanted the verse itself in Sanskrit. Then he chanted the translation in a commentary. It was no light. You know, it's like that. So he have amazing memory. He remember all the Bhagavad Gita by heart. You know, see. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also was the same. His name is called Shrutidhar. He's here one time, remember for all his life. It's called Shrutidhar. Nowadays it's very, we hear about, the photographic memory, and it's very rare, but this is how it works. Before was no books, everybody remembering everything. Now memory is going down. You can't even recall, at least me, fast, some Shantanu. So Shantanu Ganga came and she agreed to be, just a second, it was not Bhishma who will look, it's Shantanu who will look, I think, right? Okay, I don't remember the story exactly, but Bhishma. No, it was, it was something like that, but I think, it was, I think it was one of the Vasus who looked at the Ganga like this, yes, it was right. So she married Shantanu, and she said to him she have conditions, when he will never ask her anything. Like she will do something, he will not ask why, and just that's it. So the first child was born, she immediately dropped him in the Ganga. The second, the same thing, the third, like this, went to 7 of them. And in the end, he said, stop, like, what is this? Why are you doing this? And he said, yeah, okay. So she gave him a child and she disappeared. So this was Bhishma. He was son of Ganga. His name was Gangadatta as well. He's a very powerful personality. He's in the Kuru dynasty. You see, and in one point he gave a vow to never marry, because his father he wanted to marry someone, and she said, only if my children will be the kings. And he heard about it and said, I will never get married. So it was like, everybody was shocked, so he was very powerful. So he said it's a terrible vow, it's called. Okay, so the Bhishma could choose the time when he leave his body, he can choose, it's not everybody can do this, but he does. So, and he was very, very much, he loved Pandavas very much, but due to circumstances, he was in the kingdom of Kauravas, of Duryodhana and everybody. So he was the opposite side of Pandavas fighting. So Krishna said, don't be concerned about the well-being. There's amazing personalities and they make the choices and are going to get a better body. So therefore rejuvenating the energy. Such changes of the body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for the superior enjoyment of material existence. So in either case, there was no cause of limitation. A superior enjoyment of material existence. So if people are trying to get to heaven to enjoy, right? The conception of heaven here nowadays is a little bit lost, because understanding of enjoyment is also lost. The enjoyment in the heavenly planes is much more subtle than here, for example. So it's like more emotional levels, so you can enjoy more actually. The senses will give you so much. So you can't really, so here everybody goes around about the senses and how to do, but more subtle you go, the bigger enjoyment becomes. So enjoyment of the mind is bigger, intelligent, and you go spiritual, it's like unlimited. You see? So enjoyment in the heavenly planets and music and relationship is different, and it's kind of longer and more beautiful, more you get more from it, like in the ways of enjoyment. So essentially it's here and goes down and down and down, you know what dogs and pigs enjoy also. So it's like lower we go, like more gross it becomes. So it's not just. You see, any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul nature, both material and spiritual, is called Dhira, or most sober person. Such a man is never deluded by change of bodies. Deluded by change of bodies. So you see, it's super soul by nature, both material and spiritual, is called Dhira. So Dhira is a sober person, doesn't bother him. I mean, to say it maybe he understands this and experience it, but it doesn't really change in his behavior. Yeah. Like this is not like a Dhira, for example, doesn't feel cold or hot, like his body doesn't get old. It just the understanding which is not his body is greater than these disturbances. The Mayavadi theory of oneness of the spirit soul cannot be entertained on the ground that the spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as a fragmental portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make this supreme cleavable or changeable. Cleavable. Cleavable, what does this mean? It says follow.
Cleave is to cut, right?
Yeah, cleaver. Like cleavable is like dividable. It's interesting to translate. Yeah, cleavable. English is amazing. Against the principle of the spirit souls being unchangeable. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the Supreme exist eternally, sanatana, and are called kshara, that is, have tendency to fall down into material nature. So the spirit soul, it's also called Tatashta Shakti, which is called marginal potency, which is supposed to be always under the direction of material spiritual. So it's always dependent on the spiritual nature or material nature. So it cannot be independent. So or it's taking shelter in matter or in spirit. You see, it's called kshara. So you have tendency to fall down into material nature. See, so it's or in material nature or in spiritual nature. It cannot be like on its own. It's always dependent. You see, so it's given a question as so how can it be, like where's the so it's given as the how to say it, we can see that and understand that we are actually given a choice, or the choice is not very great. So or we love Krishna and associate with him, or we trying to be Krishna and we conditioned by material energy. So whatever we decide. Their fragmental portions are eternally so. Those fragmental portions are eternally so. And even after liberation, the individual soul remains in the same fragmental. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul who is presented in each and every individual soul and is known as Paramatma. The theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul. Reflection. I don't know what does it mean actually. I'm sure Prabhupada going to explain it. What is the theory of reflection? it can be just the one thing which comes to mind, but yogis meditate on the super soul. So super soul is Krishna within. And they meditate and perform austerity, so they see the super soul. But they think this is me, it's like they think the super soul is them. So maybe this one, reflection, no, I don't know. Theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul who is present in each and every individual body and is known as permanent reflection. Or, Krishna is expanding himself into in each and every body, so he reflects himself into each and every body, but it's the same person. It also can be like this. He is different from individual living entity. Then the sky is reflected in water. The reflection represents both the sun and the moon and the stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities and the sun or the moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna, and the Supreme Soul is the personality of God Sri Krishna. They are not on the same level, as it will be apparent in the beginning of the 4th chapter. If Arjuna is on the same level of Krishna and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then their relationship of instructor and instructed became meaningless. If both of them are deluded by the illusory energy Maya, then there is no need of one being the instructor and another being the instructed. Such instruction would be useless because in the clutches of mind, no one can be an authoritative instructor. You see? So, people cannot be leaders or spiritual masters on their own, certain way of presenting the knowledge. And this way is to represent the parampara system, which comes from Krishna itself. It goes through the chain of holy teachers. In this way, this knowledge doesn't really lose its potency. You see? So, if we represent them to the best of our abilities, purely, so this knowledge is actually can be given to others, and then Maya cannot touch this. It's called cheat potency is there, so you can see. So as Srila Prabhupada presented his Gita as Bhagavad-Gītā As It Is, so I'm trying to follow in his footsteps, trying to follow in the footsteps of our teachers. This is how this knowledge can be given. So even by the conditioned soul. So it's like you connected to the channel, like this. So it's like Srila Prabhupada gives so many examples, like iron and fire becomes fire. So it's like, so by repeating it to our own words or just reading it like this, we can, and practicing, we can actually try to be transparent via media. Under these circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity Arjuna, who is forgetful, so deluded by mind. Any questions?
It's an interesting verse, but I think it can be used to explain, use it as an excuse to harm people, kill people. Can it be? Like, for instance, this is a elevated soul. If this person dies now quickly, the person will get next body quickly. So let's help him to get a new body.
Yeah, so that's how we should do. So you should just, if you ask somebody to chant Hare Krishna, he said no, so Hare Krishna, like this. Right? No, this is Not authorized. So everything have to be authorized. So this is like this war was authorized. It was to reestablish religious principles, so it's not whimsical. If you end somebody's life, like prematurely, you will suffer the consequences because it's not right. It's like you have a soldier goes to war, for example, so he's not responsible for killing the enemies of the state, for example. But if it's not like this, what's an excuse? You cannot harm any living entities, you can't even disturb anybody, you get reaction. What to speak about killing. Thou shalt not kill, Christianity is like, you cannot kill, but you cannot harm living entities, you will get reaction. You will not help. I think this.
Right, so like...
You can't use anything as an excuse. People kill, like jihad, jihad? You hear this word? Jihad, and but what jihad actually means? Anybody heard?
Well, it's...
Jihad, fight within. So you fight with your anarthas, you fight with your impurities, shortcomings. This is your real fight. But now you kill everybody who don't think as you are thinking. It's not right. It's not bringing anybody anywhere.
Can you kill in defense?
Defense, yes. There is aggressors. You have how many aggressors do we have? 6? Huh?
I remember 5, like...
5 or 6, something like this.
Burn your house, like...
Burn your house, steal, burn, kill, take your wife, something else. So you can defend, you can kill them.
So these are, like you said, authorized.
Yeah, you can kill them. If somebody trying to steal or take your house or kill you or steal your something like this is like 5 or 6, I don't remember exactly. So mosquito, you can kill.
Well, if there's no other way, right? You can like just brush it off, but if you cannot brush it off, like...
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
but...
was just going to say, because even in Mahabharata, one of the name of Krishna is Ranchor. So it literally means one who leaves the battlefield, one who left the battlefield. And the story was when he was, he fought Kans and, no, please don't record me, sorry. I get very conscious of cameras. So when he, before this was establishment of Dwarka, so he was in where he defeated Kans.
No, not Kans, somebody else. It's a
no, he defeated Kans and then he got the kingdom. And at that time there was some other person, I don't know who that was, I don't remember who that was, but they kept attacking Krishna's kingdom in trying to get the land.
Yeah, like many times.
Many times. And Krishna said, we'll all just leave this land, we'll establish a new land. And that's when they built the Dwarka from ground up. And there was like a very peaceful and heavenly place to be in, and it kind of prospered. So what Krishna is trying to also tell, and also during the Mahabharata before, there was a lot of efforts of diplomacy that were failed, and then it happened, the war. So the killing only came after the failed efforts of diplomacy.
Yeah,
you said like you shoved off the mosquito.
Whereas certain, it's like first you have, as you say, you can bribe the person, then you can diplomacy, and when it doesn't work, it stick. Like this. Yeah. So there is a ways, like to entertain this kind of independency of ours, like this, in the world. You see, we all trying to be independent and how to say, control and enjoy.
Yeah.
You see, and
What kind of karma do you incur when you kill, let's say, in defense?
in defense, you didn't incur any karma.
You don't incur karma.
Not really.
However, like I was talking to one of the senior devotees.
It's also, you know, it's also a reaction on this. You know, if you cannot avoid it, yes, you can probably. But I don't think it's.
What about the aggressor? Do they have incorrect?
I mean, this is karmic reaction. You know, this is both have karmic reaction. An aggressor have reaction, and somebody who killed the aggressor, it's also reaction for his activity. You know, it's like, it's very complicated, the karmic reactions and actions, you know, like this. It's normally Krishna protects, you don't have to kill anybody if you surrender to them. Or you, if you see your duty, you should. You should, but you know, for the devotee, you know, it said this, he'll never protest, you know, Krishna will arrange everything. We have a story of Sri Prahlad Maharaj, here in Nisingadev and Prahlad Maharaj. So, Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, and he was praying to Nisingadev, to his Lord, you know, he was a devotee. So it's a very interesting story how he was born in a demonic family, but it's not the point. So, Krishna always protected. So the Prahlad was thrown from the cliff. Krishna caught him, you know, given poison. He offered it with love, you know, drink it, nothing happened, you know. He was tried to burn so many things, you know, so he never protested. He never protested. It's also Bhagavatam explained, devotee never protested. You know, as things happened, you know. People react strangely, you know. I know Maharaj was just telling, you know, he was doing parikram, you know. Sannyasi doing parikram, a holy place. The bus come through, so we move away, and somebody who, like, you know, in India have two people who drive in the bus. One is driving the bus, another is banging and screaming like side, and things like that, you know. So it just hit him on the head. People crazy, people do things. No, you know, you can get upset, you know, yeah, anger immediately arises, you know, see. But, you know, and we can fall into this anger mode, you know, like, or we can just surrender, tolerate, you know. In the end, we will have to surrender and tolerate anyway if you want to advance. You see? And, you know, you have different scriptures which is explaining how to do this. And slowly, we learn. No, yeah, like this. So, but yeah, trying to be. You have what is Tadichi, who Indra come to him, you know, ask for his bones, you know, his bones of his body. And he just left his body, leave the bones. He didn't protest. He got somebody else. Because in the end, we have to advance, not somebody else, you know. In the end, we have to advance Krishna. We have to surrender to Krishna in everything. In every situation comes to our life, you know, so we can choose what to do. And, you know, more advanced we are, better we choose. You know. So, should we read more? Or? Yeah. So it's 14. Wait a minute. Where is the 13? 13 we just read. Yeah. 14. Matras Parshas. It's all like amazing verses. Matras Parshas tu kunteya shitoshna sukha dukada agamapayana nityas tam stitikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception or sign of Bharata. And one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. That's just what we talk about. You see? Mm-hmm. Krishna is very... So you see, I'm not lying. I'm trying to follow the scriptures. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearance of distress and happiness, and appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. According to the Vedic injunctions, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the months of Magha, January, February. This is very cold. If you're in Winnipeg, And at that time, I think also in Vrindavan it's very cold, like this is extreme climate. But in spite of that, man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May or June, the hottest part of summer seasons. Yeah, of course, nowadays we have air conditioners and everything, so it's easier. But in India, for example, even in Vrindavan, there's fires, people cook, simple. We're trying to complicate things. Now we have electricity everywhere for some reason. Not fire. It just make it more difficult to cook. More difficult and less tasty, If somebody tried to eat something we just cooked on like guti or cow dung, it's much more tasty. It's like really different taste of the same thing. And more it's become like, how to say it, like modernized, like now it's in induction. We have one temple and it's for some reason they couldn't use like fire there. For some legal reasons they couldn't install the fire. And they put a new kitchen, DT kitchen, and there was this induction, plates. And he tried to cook chapatis on induction. It's like ridiculous. You can't, we figured out then, but it's not easy. Even on the simple electrical ones, which heating up is more possible than induction. It's like too much. Because nothing is, you take the pot, it's cold, like this is too much. Then we invent something, but still, it doesn't take all the, more fire it is, taking more oxygen inside, it's become more prana, more life in it, in the food, and you cook. So why I was talking about it? Yeah, fires. So the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climbing inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is religious principles of kshatriyas. And although one has to fight with some friends and relatives, one should not deviate from his prescribed duties. So Arjuna and his Pandavas, they were protecting dharma and protecting, in this way, or protecting the world, you can say, the people and everybody. So, and that's why they fight, and this is their duty, to protect dharma, not protect. They didn't fight for themselves. Like you can see, life of Pandavas, life of Yudhishthira Maharaj, is always like, they get the kingdom, they lose the kingdom. They get the kingdom, they go to first again. Then they again come out victorious. So again, there's 5 times I think in Yudhishthira went from the forest to the emperor of the world and back. And then the last time he just went to the forest. So, and he was not disturbed. And he was not disturbed. He was not hesitating to do this. He was. The only thing he does is serving Krishna, His meditation, his thoughts, his duties in Krishna consciousness. So the external circumstances, they don't affect pure devotees. I see. Some people can be rich and poor and different living conditions, but pure devotee doesn't get disturbed. Srila Prabhupada, for example, he was in Allahabad, he was in a house, living in a richest man in Allahabad. They have this prasadam delivered in a silver plates with like servants like this, And then I went to Mayapur to the grass hut, this is hut, he was living in a hut, and his consciousness doesn't change. He said it's even better because it's more Brahminical. More clean, easy, simple. It's not simple in the way, unintelligent. It's simple in the way it's more easy and pure. Like, maybe we have this, simple and simple. We hear simple, we think it's like unsophisticated, But for example, you can see, like, these drains, these pipes, this goes into the wall and outside, This is extremely complicated. And if you go to Mayapur, to like Gurukul Mayapur, you have drains, and it's made, you can clean it actually easily, It's like, you go from the roof, you have a chain, for example. It goes through the chain, and then it's like this, and you have this yaksha, which is like holding it on the head, and it goes like, it's very beautiful, but it's very simple. It's not like this one, let's try to clean this one, and it's have to be hidden, and so many things. It's just an example, but simple doesn't mean not beautiful. Simple actually does mean beautiful. We live in this complicated world, and I think this is very, very attractive and very, very nice, and we like so advanced, but actually it goes away. It goes away from beauty and simplicity. Yeah. And it's repeating itself, we can see how people are actually unhappy and disturbed and easily get angry and stuff, because of the
simple. They need to be more simple.
More God conscious and simple, something like this. Otherwise nobody can be happy. Krishna live in very simple environment, but very beautiful environment as well. He is, Okay, so similar to fight is the religious principles of Kshatriya, and although he has to fight with some friends and relatives, one should not deviate from the prescribed duty. We can see here like two parts of this war. One is led by Duryodhana. So Duryodhana wasn't fighting for religious principles; he was fighting for kingdom. He wanted to be king. He didn't really want anything else. He didn't want, diplomacy doesn't work, nothing worked. It's not like he had to do this, like he had a nice life, there's no problem, But he wanted to control, his desire to control and enjoy, and this is what is actually was pushing him so hard. You see, he couldn't really submit to anybody. This is also a special personality, but yeah. So, but Kshatriya, real Kshatriya is not his scene, like he is like, his drive is to protect the dharma. Protect so people can advance spiritually, so everything goes smoothly, like dharma, not his own self, like Yudhishthira could leave and go to the forest. He had no problem with it at all. If it's based on religious principles, on his word, give word, he can, it says like. Also, we can see it in the Lord of Ramachandra, in the life of Lord Ramachandra. He's also his word. He protected religious principles. If something goes wrong, he's protecting. It's like this. Like Vishwamitra, right? Who was Vishwamitra? Really. He came and took Ramachandra. Said, "I need you. I will take him. I will protect him. We have to." Some demons disturbing our sacrifice, we have to send them away. So Ramachandra came, and the sacrificial fire began to burn again, because his demons were attacking, and, it was disturbing religious principles. So, and his father also, he just said, yes, of course, you can take it. It was hard for him to, but even the first thing which goes is the religious principles, is like also, it's all culture about it, it's like the elder, his father said to the son, do something, he will do it without hesitation, Like this, this is a nature of kshatriyas. He can, like, tolerate any pain in his own, but, protect others. Yeah. It's not like he's like Bruce Lee is fighting, with everybody, really good to fight. Bruce Lee is a Shudra, even if he's good in fighting, like this, but he's not a Kshatriya. Kshatriya is a mood, it's not action actually, what he's showing. Yeah. So he's not a Kshatriya. I told it to some devotee, it was like, he was into the martial arts, he thought Bruce Lee is a Kshatriya. And we talk about it, it's a mood, it's like, the way you see the world, the way, the Kshatriyas is like Brahmanas, but they also can fight, like this. Brahmanas will not fight, they will just chant some mantras and everything. It's very more powerful, in a sense. Yeah. But they all needed to work together. That's the point of the caste system also, right?
Yes.
Kshatriyas is the arms to protect, the Brahmanas is the head, they guide, like this. The Vaishyas is the stomach, they support everything. And the Shudras is the feet, they walk around, like in it, so it's all one body which serves Krishna. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya or illusion. So what is illusion?
Energy of God.
Huh?
Energy of God.
I understand, but what is the illusion? What we...
that we are in control, that we managing everything here.
Yeah. The illusion is like we have these bodies and we are servant of our senses. This is the illusion. We are not this body, we are servant of Krishna. This is our basic position. The different names of address given to Arjuna are also very significant. Everything is very significant. Like Krishna speaks, like he was saying, "O son of Bharata," so like this. Yeah. He addressed Arjuna in different names to point the particular point. Okay, there are two different names of address given to Arjuna are also significant. To address him as Kaunteya signifies his great blood relations from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from the father's side. From both sides, he is supposed to have a great heritage. A great heritage brings responsibility in a matter of proper discharge of duties, therefore he cannot avoid fighting. So it's talking about nobility, for example, here. It's not just, some guy who's powerful. He is also noble. It doesn't mean anything nowadays. Nobility is like somebody who can drink tea like this, finger, it's just called noble. But no, it's a quality it's a character that comes with it. Because everything is connected, and people who, like if they have this heritage, this lineage, they are pure in mind and heart, so the children also become the same. You see, whatever people think in this moment of conception, bring the particular soul into the body. So, like this, you have two dynasties which is connected. You have Kaunteya, the Kunti is, and a Bharata. So it's like, cannot get better than this. So Arjuna is a special personality, isn't it? He's a very close friend of Krishna. But he cannot deviate from the service. He cannot go. He's doing all these questions is for our sake, for the sake of everybody, for our sakes. Because we can never forget this. Like we can see it in many different places. Like for example, Narada Muni. Everybody knows Narada Muni, right? Narada Muni is a great sage. He's always with Vina, Narayan, right? The servant of Narayan. And is described in the Bhagavad described his previous life. He was an ordinary child of some maidservant in the previous life. Sort of, the story goes like this. And what's happened, so he didn't have a father, so his mother was serving Chaturmasi, she was serving some saintly people. And he was always eating his remnants. These was saintly people remnants, which is and was always listening. So he became Narada Muni after it, He was also tragedy in the family, but he went through this and by the mercy of the sages he became Narada Muni. But it's not like he became Narada Muni, he was also Narada Muni, but his pastime showed the power of association. So they all great personalities will come to show us mercy. Any questions? Complaints? Hand grenades?
I don't know if you want to read one more, but I actually randomly opened the page.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want to read that and talk about it.
Okay, that's a good practice. Which one is it?
It's 13:13. 13:3.
13:13 is it was
Yeah, 13:3.
What is it? What do you want to say? There's in Canada there's no floor number for 13.
Right.
Okay, so it's also a sign of Bharata. You see, it's very much connected. The Arjuna called the same name in this verse, right?
Yeah.
Bharata. So this whole sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower of all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Well, we went nature and joy in the consciousness. While discussing the subject of the body and the knower of the body, the soul and the super soul, we shall find three different topics of study: the Lord, the living entity, and the matter. It's actually what the Bhagavad Gita is all about. It's the Lord, the living entity, the material world, the action and
reaction?
No. The activities and the prakriti. Yeah, 5 things. So 3 is described here. Come on, I just read it 2 days ago. See? While discussing the subject of the body, the knower of the body, the soul and the super soul, will shall find 3 topics of study: the Lord, the living entity, and the matter. In every field of activities, in every body, there is 2 souls: the individual soul and the super soul. Because the super soul is a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, I am also the knower, but I am not the individual knower of the body. I am the super knower. I am present in every body as a Paramatma of the super soul. So he's describing as a Paramatma, he's explaining that he always, a good friend and witness, always goes with the living entity whenever he goes. So we cannot remember, for example, he was also telling this, our previous lives, but he remember everything. He's always with us, Krishna is always in the heart, anywhere we go. We do nonsense activity, He is with us. We don't want to surrender Him, He is with us anyway. We cannot function without Krishna, Even if we concentrate, even we surrender to material energy, the influence, but Krishna never leaves our side. He's always waiting, when we turn to Him. And He's very happy when we turn to Him. But He's always with us. He's the only friend which will never leave us. And never betray us, and never, it's amazing. You never seen the bad things which you do, You see only good things. This is what saintly people do as well. You can take anybody, Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is very nicely, you have a very nice story, everybody were complaining about one devotee, He doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, is this bad, that bad, But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, he bears his duty very nicely. So the saintly person can see actually good in everyone. And this is because he's representing the mercy of the Lord. Because we're doing nonsense constantly, we can control our senses, our minds, and etc., 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 but you see only good things, some spark which you can make a fire with. Because originally, in the end, we are actually spirit souls. We're not this body, not this mind, not this intelligence. We are dasa, anudasa, we're servant of the servant of the Krishna, master of the gopis. Gopi, Kamala, dasa, anudasa. So that's what Krishna sees, what the devotee sees. There are nonsense we can see anywhere, You come to the place I live, around, this is unbelievable, And I was doing something, and one guy like this, he said, excuse me. I said, oh my God. Actually, I found it really interesting. The first reaction, yeah. But, when you overlook it and start talking to me, and the guy was he was the son of he's a black guy, he was the son of some ambassador in Russia. He speaks Russian, And he was trying to study there in university. And I said, because I was young, I was restless and I didn't pass my Russian exam. But they can say so many words, such a nice guy actually, but okay. And another time, but it's external, so we generally see external. We don't, and the spiritual people we see inside there, we see the good of people. And our first reaction is yuck, what is this, how can you do this? I have also, I'm going home and we have a little, I don't know, something, next to the fence, and one junkie, she's just going nuts there, just, I don't know, singing to herself, speaking to somebody, the people who take drugs, in these conditions, they talk to themselves, It's because they're easily affected by the ghostly creatures, the ghosts are trying to enter the body, and they have conversations, loud conversations, whose body it is. Not seriously, it's like that. You sing it after him, or some mantras you have, waking up, but then it goes back again. Anyway, in any case, she was going crazy there, and I was and then I had something from Amazon delivered, so I opened the door and looked, it's not there. I was thinking she took it, And I was looking, she said, oh, I told them to put it in a box, and all them to put it in a box. I seen it's here, look in the box, I was I look at the box, it's there. She actually helped, like this. So I said, oh, thank you. No problem. Here's nice Wi-Fi. It was but the first reaction was different, from me at least, I said, oh my God, I had a friend, and he's really strong. He was, when I was young, he was a really strong guy. He became a devotee, and he was not just a strong guy, he was also some kind of martial artist, everything. And I was driving somewhere from the temple to the temple, and some guy come across and just swears something on him. So he opened the door of the car and started running after him, At one point I stopped and thinking, oh my God, what kind of devotee I am? Like this, kind of realized, like he went after his mind and senses, like in a moment. Thing, like that. So, but Krishna is very kind, he always bring us back. Bring us back and, let us try again. So that is my opinion, Krishna said. No, not about it. But I'm telling you, it's in our heart, it's always there, in each and every one of us. And it never leaves us. This is how merciful he is. You see? No, I have time. We have time? We have time. Yeah, I present everybody as Paramatma Super Soul. In Israel we have Super Souls, but this is like a chain of supermarkets called Super Soul. Super Soul is called the Super something, but I always call it Super Soul, This is the funniest way. One who studies the subject matter of the field of activities and the knower of the field very minutely in terms of Bhagavad Gita can attain to knowledge. So I'm just trying to read it again. One who studies the subject matter of the field of activity and the knower of the field very minutely, what does it mean? Minutely. In terms of this Bhagavad Gita can attain to knowledge. So, study subject matter of field of activity. Field of activities in this regard is talking about the body. This is a field of activity. And a knower of the body, a knower of the field is the soul inside. It's a living entity inside the body. So the field in which he acts. It's not a field like everywhere else. It's talking about the body. The Lord says, I'm the knower of the field of activity in every individual body. So he knows everything. The individual may be knowing of his own body, but he's not in knowledge of other bodies. This is also before, so the pain and pleasure of one doesn't unknown to another. As I tell you the stories about these people who could fall into this different position. I was talking to somebody just recently, because I see it every day, but you cannot judge, in Russian it's a saying, like...
Девушки встречают?
No. I don't remember. So, but this can be like, it's just one step. You can fall into circumstances and become like... we don't know why these people are there, why these people suffering so much. But everybody's suffering in any condition of life. So we cannot know the pain, how they come to this. I think one devotee we here living, he fell into this condition once. Something happened in his family, and something he had to live in the street. And instead of very quickly you find some kind of friends, like this kind of ghostly friends, and some drugs and this and that, it's very fast to degrade, At one time, it's the other side of the story, but one time I was distributing books somewhere in Holland, they have this city Utrecht, it's called, and they have this big train station which is connected to the mall, so we go there, Hokoterrain is called, remember all these names. So I was distributing books and one guy come to me, start swearing at me, you guys, you destroyed my life, and it was really heavy, and I didn't do it, I didn't approach him, And then some devotee said, this guy, he used to live in the temple, for 3 months. He camped and joined, he lived for 3 months, and then was very enthusiastic, and then something happened and left. And what's happened then, he was a junkie, he was into drugs, Holland is a very hard place, everything's allowed, And it was like, he was trying to take drugs, but he couldn't enjoy. He gets so much taste in these 3 months of Krishna consciousness, he couldn't enjoy anymore, He's trying to drink himself, like to mostly death, like to take any drugs he can't enjoy. And he was always swearing at devotees, you spoil my life, like, so you get this higher taste and you cannot really come back. You understand it, it's Krishna in connection. And this thing is just, keeping you in suffering condition, That's I find it's really inspiring for some reason, but yeah. So hopefully, and so many devotees like to talk about the guy and probably praying for him, And in the next life, something, he will get better opportunity, if he cannot get free from it, right now. Yeah. I have one devotee friend. We actually, not devotee. I introduced him to Krishna consciousness in Israel. One guy, and his mind is really intense, He also was taking drugs, so he was coming back and forth to devotees, back and forth, was coming and going away. And once he ran into the temple and said, Radhikatma, what's happened, I read in Bhagavad Gita that you have to offer the flower and leaf, to the Krishna, So I take the leaf and I offer it to my altar, and I put it there, and I went to the kitchen, I come, and everything was on fire, it was burned, everything was burned down. I said, what kind of leaf do you offer? I said, the ganja leaf, the marijuana leaf. I said, you offer different leaves, you don't have to offer tulsi. But he's now he's initiated devotee. Nirguna is name. Yeah. He's always like this. His mind is giving him so much trouble, but he's very much attached to devotional service, to the devotees. He never committed real offense, to the devotees. And Krishna understanding his mad mind, doesn't let him home. He cannot live in one place, in one temple for long, but he's still his devotee. It's amazing. Krishna sees the good in people. Never let him go. This is why it's said, you make one step, you do some service, he will never let you go, because you're so dear. So dear. So we have a lot of hope, I think, right? If we just have to. Srila Prabhupada also explained in Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, it's another book, that Krishna consciousness is said as a slow process of Krishna consciousness. But as is explained, a little advancement on this path, it's never lost. It's it's never lost. In my Guru Maharaj once, not my Guru Maharaj asked this question, but also Arjuna asked this question. Arjuna asked this question, he said, if I start this process, more or less I'm paraphrasing it, and for some reason I didn't complete this process, so what will happen to me? Because anything we know, we started, if you don't complete it, it's useless, right? You start cooking potatoes, you will not complete it, it's useless, exactly. What if I start, I surrender, I pick up this process, but I didn't complete what's going to happen to me? And Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, he explained, whatever you do, this is your eternal spiritual credit. So if you do 20%, next life you start with 21. It's never lost. These things you will never lose, And I've seen it. I've been around a little bit, and I've seen many devotees like this. Some cannot reach something, or some people, they can, they do something, and after sometimes you find them, and they start from the same point, and more and more and more. It's slowly building up. It's called Bhakti Lata, like devotional creeper, which is grows and goes back to God.
Devotional creeper.
Yes, Bhakti Lata. It's called Bhakti Lata. So what Srila Prabhupada did, what Krishna did, Bhakti-lata beach, this sown, these seeds in every heart. So it's Bhakti-lata, and we have to protect this beautiful bhakti, the plant of love, of Godhead, from different, like weeds and stuff, and to do things. Gardening, like this. That's how it's compared to in life.
And I was thinking about it. It's like so. Creeper is a plant that like need to attach itself to something. So like, and what is it? Something like is it our trust in Krishna? Is it our like initial interest in spirituality?
Attached to the gurus, to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, probably to the to Krishna.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's interesting. It's not just plant. It's like that particular plants that need support.
Mercy. All right. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Very, very good idea. I think we should do it all.
Yeah, I just opened it and okay, that sounds interesting.
Same name, like it's like wow, so much connected. The sign of Bharata. Sign of Bharata. I had always, all my life, this problem, with remembering names. For some reason, My Guru Maharaj said, remember names, you have to train your memory, you learn shlokas, you learn mantras, you learn this. And then your memory improved. But the problem was too crazy then. Taking some time, I have one devotee who was one of my, was teacher. He said he started learning shlokas after 20 years in the movement. Couldn't do it before. When the person is amazing, he's chanted 64 rounds every day, for years. Deities like this. So much taste, you cannot chant Hare Krishna if you don't have taste, like every round is a struggle, but still we go through this, taste comes, it's like jaundice, everything is bitter, every word is a struggle, everything, they cannot concentrate, but Krishna, it's a special, he hears us sometimes, I remember one time I chanted my rounds, and I couldn't believe it, and I came, it was a temple, and we were living next to the temple, In one day, for some reason, I chanted, I don't know what's happened. I was actually, there was one devotee who was very much distracting me, like driving me nuts. It was very much distracting. And I just wanted to chant, and I concentrated so much for some reason, and Krishna gives some mercy. Nothing was disturbing me. No the comments, nothing. I was just chanting, and I was I feel like Krishna everywhere. It's not happening every day. It's maybe a few times in my life, like this. But you're giving you this taste. And then when I come to the temple, where everybody looking at me like this, what's happened? And one senior devotee went, good rounds, See, so it's transforming you to different spiritual personalities, linked with the Supreme, connected to Krishna. Krishna in his name is not different. So you're associated with this Krishna, it's your whole personality changing. You lava matra sadhu sangha is saying in scriptures with one moment of association with a pure devotee can elevate you from elevate you totally and completely. It's yeah. So this is what we should
I also have a similar experience when rounds are much better, some days. And then I figure out that it was either when I was in the temple somewhere, or we had a very senior devotee living in our house for a week. And he was probably chanting mantra in his room, and I was chanting mantra at the same time in another room. I haven't heard him, but that rounds was so easy and focused. Because he's present, like clean the
This
whole
is very natural, but we're trying to, like, no. Chant. You say chant, you say chant. Yeah, so. That's everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For coming.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Come again.